What's up? I hope I'm going to be loud enough on this video. This is episode 9 of Dispersing the Cloud. I can't believe it. We're 9 weeks in already. It's been crazy. So, I'm on a train right now, obviously on my way back to Stockton. I think my car's in Lodi though. I gotta find a way to get to Lodi. We were in Bakersfield. We were wrestling this week. We had for Calaveras High School, we had one guy qualify for the state tournament. So he did all right. He had one match. He lost his next two. State tournament's tough. First time there. So hopefully next year he'll have a little easier go with it. My brother's team also has a kid there, and he made it to the second day, and so he's probably going to wrestle here maybe in an hour, something like that. Let's hop into it though. Let's bust it out. I'm on this train and feel like a weirdo talking to you guys live. Usually I do this in the privacy of an office or a hotel room. So let me check out my outline here. We got the launching of our website. Go to As You Are. I'm gonna change the lighting here. You can go to asyouaretour.com. Contact your church, your venue if you guys want us to play in your city, and the website's up. You guys can book us to play. So we got 35 slots. We're contacting over 300 churches in and around Northern California, some in Southern California, but mostly in NorCal. This week I got the film, which was kind of cool. We did a little video for the website for the As You Are tour. We had practice on Tuesday. That was the first practice we had for the tour. It went fairly well. Yeah, part of my process right now is this week I've been playing a lot of music, and I mean, I've been screaming at wrestling matches. I'm kind of a little concerned about the tour, like how my voice is going to hold up. I'm going to have to do some research on techniques to keep it fresh. If we're going to do 35 shows in 3 months, that's not even a lot, but for me that's a lot. You know, I'm used to playing maybe 3 times a month, 4 times a month at best, and it's going to be a lot. So that's coming up. What else we got? Oh god, this week right now I'm hiring an intern, so I have a couple Craigslist ads out for the internship. And my buddies played a prank on me. They made a fake profile. It was pretty good. And I should have known. They said that the guy was a mathematician. And I talked to him on the phone, and they did a pretty good job of lying. So they had me going for a little bit. But I set up a meeting with this guy. I got real ticked off when he didn't show up. He was super rude on a text message. Come to find out, it's just my boys messing with me. So that was kind of funny. Last part of the process for this week is really start with why. You guys know I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek and his book Start With Why. And as we started getting into the tour, and we released the poster, and we're working on the website, it started changing from kind of like my normal style of like how I do music and how they do worship, into like we're trying to create a bigger show, you know, just to kind of up our game a little bit. And we had to back off. We had to kind of take a step back and say, man, after our first practice, like, that was fun, but it's not really who we are. We got to start with why again. Why are we doing this? And let's lead from there. And that was a really cool step back for both me and Awaken Worship. To just kind of take a look at the set list that we were putting together, and kind of revamp it and get back to our roots and kind of like what we want to do. Another part of the process for me this last week has been mobility. I'm realizing that mobility is key for me. I was in Lodi on Thursday. I was in Bakersfield on Friday, and I'm going to be back in Lodi again on Thursday. And being able to just get up and go for me, it does two things. One, it allows me to be busy. In the book that we're going to review this week, If You're Not First, You're Last, we talk about empty space on a calendar is just the devil, basically. Empty space on a calendar can be really advantageous for you being lazy. And so me having the ability to be mobile actually helps me out a lot to stay really active and really on top of my game like this. And then on top of that, using the train. This is the first time I jumped on a train since college, and I forgot how much time you have to just sit, chill, do work. They have Wi-Fi on the train now, so I'm going to bust out a whole bunch of work after this video blog is done. So that's huge for me. And yeah, so that's the process for this week. Upcoming next week, I'm going to move the phone just a little bit so I can read my notes. Actually, I'll move my notes. That'll be a little bit easier. Bam, there we go. So coming up next week, we got the wrestling banquet. We're booking those 300 churches. I got a photo shoot on Thursday, which is kind of cool. If you guys are following me, you know that I did a commercial a couple weeks ago where they had my beard curled into like different mustaches, which was cool. I didn't even know my beard could do that, so I'm going to update my my headshot profile for that. And then we have Frost Off State, which is the last wrestling thing I'm going to do for the season. I love wrestling season, but it's going to be nice to just be done with it and get focused on this tour. Book of the week, Grant Cardone's If You're Not First, You're Last. I love Grant Cardone just because he has crazy amounts of energy in his book. He always gets me jazzed up. The book is revolved around the idea from when markets crash, when economies go into recession. And he makes the argument that we need to worry about controlling space, not necessarily about making money. So when markets crash, like they did in 2008, instead of retracting from that, people who moved into it, like Grant Cardone, no one even knew who he was. People who move into it end up taking up space that other people retract from, right? So he just kind of, oh, you're going to move from that seat? Let me get in that seat. Now I'm in that seat. Now it costs a lot of money to push into space, but once you're in the space and you're controlling it, you're the guy. So if you're not the first person that someone thinks of when they go to buy something, you're basically last because you didn't make the sale. So if you're not first, you're last. There's four main responses to a contraction, to an economic contraction that he highlights. One is the cheerleader, you know. We can do it, guys. Like, the economy's bad, but we can still make it happen. Positivity is great, but just being positive isn't really going to fly. There's the back to basics guy. Like, you know, really nothing's changed. If we just get back to basics, then we can make it happen. Well, 40% of your market is gone. Basics aren't going to do it anymore. You're going to have to think outside the box. So that's not going to happen. That's not really going to fly. The third one is refusing to participate. And I'm sure when you, like in 2008, I'm sure you guys knew people who were like, you know what, I'm just gonna refuse to participate in the market crash. I got enough money saved up. I'm just gonna chill out until the market gets better. You know, his argument there is when the market gets better, man, you're gonna be irrelevant because I'm gonna move into your space. No one's gonna know who you are in 3 years when the market gets better. The third one is the one that he says is the only thing that you can do when a recession hits, is you can expand into the space. And it's the only logical thing to do. When recession hits, you expand. I'm reading a different book right now, next week's book. It actually lines up with this week's book, Richest Man in Babylon. And they talk about all the different businesses that started during the Depression, during a recession. And you're talking about like the Foot Locker, you're talking about McDonald's, talking about, I think Walmart was one of them that started in a recession. Like, they're starting when there's a huge depression on. So you don't need good economical times to start a business. You really just need to control space. A couple other points I'm going to jump on for the book. Again, he covers mostly sales in this book. Sales techniques. If you read his book, Sell or Be Sold, is another fantastic book. But again, along the same kind of lines of just sales techniques. But some of the stuff that I highlighted from was like act hungry. It's just a nice reminder. Rich people always act hungry. You ever notice that? I'm a big UFC fan. You ever listen to Conor McGregor talk about, oh, I need some money. Oh, I'm all about the money. I got to get that money. I don't have enough. I'm hungry. He'll say things like that. He's got a couple $1 million. He don't need the money, but he needs the money. He acts hungry. But people who are in the middle class, they try to pretend like they don't need it, like they're doing well. And another one of Grant's books, he always says you can tell the frauds because they're the ones who act like they don't need the business. But the people who are really doing good, they're always telling you, I need the business. Not Daniel Peak, the co-founder of Peter Thiel, the co-founder of, God, I just reviewed the book, Cloud Has Me, that's why I do this stuff, 0 to 1. That book, he talks about large companies always try to convince you that they're not monopolies, and you can always tell you when a company is real small because they try to convince you that they are a monopoly. Same concept. Rich people are hungry, man. People in the middle class, they try to convince you that they don't need your business. It's a lie. They need your business. Act hungry. Power schedule, I talked about it a little bit. Mobility, power schedule, empty space on the calendar is the devil. Fill your schedule with things. If you have empty space on the calendar, you're just going to become immobile. You're going to become stagnant. You're going to get lackadaisical, and you're going to play video games for 45 hours in a row. You know, I haven't done that in a while, but I know I'm capable of it. So I have to keep my schedule jam-packed to keep me moving on things. And I'll tell you this right now, the more packed my schedule is, the more money I end up making that month. Even if my schedule is packed with crazy things like, hey, I'm gonna get on a train to Bakersfield, right? And waste 3 days. It's not a waste. One, I got to feed into the lives of other people, right? I get to talk to people, talk to kids who are wrestling and tell them like how I went through that and how that affected my life. So I'm feeding into lives in one part, right? And the second part is I'm keeping my schedule full. I'm staying busy. I'm doing things like this, and that is extremely advantageous for me being productive and making money. If you guys are really watching all my stuff, you've noticed that I've said advantageous a lot. It's like my word of the month right now. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary, so if I find a word that I like, I just keep using it. So I apologize.
All right, coming up shortly, the station stop with point with the start.
We're going to let this guy finish up his little speech. All right, he's good. Power schedule. Know about money. If you don't know about money, you're doing a disservice to yourself. I'm only a couple chapters into Richest Man in Babylon, but I am already suggesting that for next week we're going to talk about knowing about money and how that affects your income. And be unreasonable. Do things that are extremely unreasonable. Read a book a week that's extremely unreasonable. It doesn't make any sense for me to read a book a week, study it, take notes on it, do a book review, not get paid, and only have 5 to 10 people watch it. I ain't doing it for you, I'm doing it for me. Be unreasonable in your actions, and you will see results that you can't believe. So, next week, Richest Man in Babylon by George Carlson. I'm also going to do All Is Grace, a ragamuffin memoir by Benjamin Manning. And then there's a little tiny book, it's like a little pamphlet called As a Man Thinks by James Allen. Those are all next week. I'm going to bust through those 3. Coming up next month, we're still launching the new business. That should be actually in the next couple weeks. I'll tell you about what the new business is and how you guys can check that out. Again, if you want me to come to your church, your city, go to asyouaretour.com and get your church or venue to check us out there and request a booking. All the dates are listed up there. Word of inspiration for the day: it is your duty and obligation to create success for you and your family. That's a quote by Grant Cardone. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and MySpace. See you guys later. Hey, shut this thing off.